Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Alpha Leaks with myself, Declan. Hope everybody's had a good week. And as always, I'm looking forward to kicking off with the updates for you this week as well. So what have we been up to this week? Well, I actually had a chat with Cryptic Web, where I was talking about Aurora's metrics, ambitions, the plans for 2026. If you're really interested in the nuts and bolts of what we're doing, please do take the opportunity to read through that or indeed listen in. I go into a lot more detail about some of the key areas like partnerships, focusing on quality over quantity, what we're focusing on, in terms of our virtual chains, Calyx, and of course the new swap widget that's coming shortly. Now, in addition to that, we have a new partner. So pleased to announce that Supra Labs is now actually live on the Aurora Cloud Marketplace. So this is now providing all of our virtual chain founders another ultra-fast oracle that they can use. But we've actually gone one step further. Rather than just having the integration, we've also agreed a commercial partnership with them to ensure that all of our virtual chain users benefit from significant pricing discounts as well. I think it's actually down here somewhere, but it was, yes, there we go. So typically, they charge 150,000 for an integration fee, but that has been reduced to 50,000 exclusively for our Aurora chain founders. And the renewal rate has been reduced by 80% as well. So this is just another partnership that we're putting in place to really strengthen the virtual chains and to give founders the flexibility that they need, not only to maximize their product efficiency, but also to scale efficiently as well. Outside of Aurora, there's also an announcement from the Near protocol. So StarkNext token is now live on Solana. So obviously we've seen over the past few weeks more and more tokens that are being made available thanks to what Near Intents is doing. And this is just another example of that. Now, just a little bit of alpha for you. I don't think even Near Intents have posted this on their Twitter yet, but I spotted it just before this call. I announced last week that Near Intents surpassed 9 billion in volume. And it turns out in the 10 days since they hit the 9 billion threshold, as of today, they hit 10 billion. So they're averaging 100 million in volume a day. But that 10 billion milestone has been reached. They're going to be posting about it shortly. Apologies, Alex, if you wanted to announce that yourself. But yeah, you heard it here first. Congratulations to Near Intents and the Near Intents team. So that's some of the kind of generic updates, I guess. But there were a couple of things I mentioned last week that I wanted to touch upon again today. So last week I said I'd provide an update on Calyx and I'd provide an update on the widget. Now, unfortunately, I'm not quite able to talk about the next Calyx project yet. We know who they are. They've confirmed that they're launching, but we are waiting on a few third parties to have everything in place before we're allowed to share who it is. So apologies, I was hoping to be able to share that news today. But obviously, as you guys know, there's a lot going on at the market at the moment. A lot of companies are still coming back online. And so these things are taking slightly longer than expected. But it will be worth the wait. And as soon as I can share that update, I will. What I can share in relation to Calyx is we are about to finalize our first major network partner for network months. So one of the big focuses for this year is scaling Calyx and making sure that we've got good quality projects coming through as regularly as possible. Now, the fact is, the Aurora team isn't a huge team. And so in order to achieve that scalability, we're working very closely with the biggest partners that you can think of, the biggest L1s that you can think of. And that's what we've been working very hard on over the past month, 2 months. And we're now finally starting to see the fruits of that. And we're hoping to be able to announce the first of our partners for February, hopefully within the next week or so. More to come there, but it's going to be very interesting for anybody that is big on Calyx, because you're going to see a lot of opportunities and a lot of new projects that are coming through as well. Now, the other thing that I said I was going to show to you guys today was the new product that we are releasing, which is the swap widget. Now, as a heads up, obviously, the design may change slightly, or there might be a few tweaks before we actually go live with clients and partners. But I can today kind of walk you through just how easy it's going to be for projects to be able to basically leverage the power of Near Intents and tap into that volume straight away. All they'll need to do is go to the widget studio that you can see here, and they'll be able to set it up in any way that suits their project. They can have it as a standalone built-in wallet connector, or they can actually create it as a dApp. They're able to enable or disable account abstraction. Now, for those who aren't sure what that means, what it basically means, or for those of you who have used Calyx, you'll often see on Calyx, or indeed the near intents front end, that when you're depositing assets or when you're looking to swap assets, you will see, for example, USDC on Near, USDC on Ethereum, or USDC on Calyx, or USDC on near intents. And those latter ones are just one of the unique features that account abstraction allows projects to be able to have. So, for example, if Declan Enterprises decided to use this widget, you could be swapping USDC on Declan Enterprises. But of course, not all networks are going to need this. So you'll have the account abstraction component, which you can choose here. In addition to that, you can then select which networks you want to support. Now, of course, this list is always growing. But there's some projects that we're speaking to right now that actually only want to support some very specific projects. So again, you can select, of course, always selecting Near. You might select Ethereum, Solana, and ZK, right? And that's it. What you can then do is go even more granular and determine which tokens you want to support. So again, you can deselect them all. You can select which tokens that you want. And then finally, you can enable fee collection. Now, this is going to be a particularly important component that the widget is going to provide projects. Why? Well, because it means they can apply custom fees, and it means that they can also set it up in a way that benefits specific cohorts of their users. They can use it as a revenue generation stream. And most importantly, it will allow them to ensure that the product is basically aligned with how their product works. Once you've done that, the project simply needs to choose the design aspects that they want. So the color schemes, maybe they want it to be dark, maybe they want it to be bold, and they might want to increase the corner radiuses, or they might want to change the colors completely. You can have the container wrapper. The point is, every single widget will be unique. And that's great because for projects that are looking to grow quickly and focus as much as possible on their core product, being able to take near intents that's processed over 10 billion in volume and just apply it directly to their own application or website in seconds is going to be extremely valuable. So we are super excited here at Aurora that this product is now built, and we have our first clients that we're going to be running forwards with. And of course, you're going to be seeing more and more projects adopting this widget over the coming weeks. We've got half a dozen that we're integrating and onboarding right now. Obviously, I'm happy to answer any questions that people may have, or if indeed you have a product that you think could be of benefit, please do let me know. Now, aside from that, one of the things we've been talking about is actually a refresh of this, Alpha Leaks. So we've had the same format, obviously, for quite some time now, but we're looking at other ways that we can use Alpha Leaks to provide insights and value to you, the people who are watching. But this is something we'd love your feedback on as well. So if there's anything you'd like to see, perhaps you want to see guest speakers, perhaps you want to touch upon different areas or have other topic focus areas, whatever it might be, please do share your feedback. I would love to hear it. The team would love to hear it, but you can expect some tweaks and changes, whilst of course ensuring that you still get all of the core content over the coming weeks. So that covers all of the key updates on my side, but of course, it wouldn't be an Alpha Leaks without me picking our meme clash winners for the week. So let's have a look at what we've got. Okay, Kevin, near intent season is upon us, courtesy of Aurora. Well, I think Diffuse Labs are doing a pretty big job there as well. But Peaky Blinders, so you can't really go wrong there. Craig, what have you posted? Well, that's the first time I've ever been represented by Donald Trump, but I'll take it. Okay, we have Dungeon Master. As soon as I get to know about the Calyx update, yeah. Zane, what do we have from Zane? Okay, nice. Okay, I know there will be a big Calyx update in the next Alpha Leaks, but I can't prove it. And then, of course, our favorite quote on the internet, surprise, mother. If any of you haven't watched Dexter, by the way, I highly recommend it. Okay, what else do we have? Feeling you get when you know it's near intense season. I think some of you should ask Alex if he'll try and do this dance, especially if he decides to do an Alpha Leaks for near intense as well. I think it'd only be fair, and I'm sure he'd be up for it. What do we have now? Breaking every volume, 9 billion. Well, yeah, although technically it's now 10 billion as of today. Okay, nice. Great summary. We have praise. You know, guys, I'm actually loving the fact that I'm being represented well with Peaky Blinders here. I don't quite have his youth, and my hair is somewhat more grey, but I will take it. What else do we have? Near intense season, no sign of slowing down. Let's spread the word. And then near intense is the best among all others provided. Okay, all right. So we've got some pretty interesting choices. The winners I'm going to choose for this week. Let's have a look. Payne, you're going to be a winner just because Dex was a great series, and I quite like the reference there. What do I have to do to make people fucking listen? I think that's what my missus says to me. Yeah, Zane, I'm going to give that one to you as well. Congratulations. And then, yeah, and then the final winner, it's got to be me as Donald Trump, just because, you know, why not? All right, so that is our 3 winners. Congratulations. I'm going to change it up a bit. So for next week, what I would like to see is some memes focusing around the new swap widget that we're going to be coming out with. So next week, I'll be choosing the 3 top winners from memes that are talking about the swap widget. So I look forward to seeing what you can come up with. Okay, let's have a look at some of the questions that we've got today. Okay, so let's have a look. We have one from Leotom. There was a lot of positive energy at Biddle Europe in Lisbon. Did it translate into any concrete wins or results for Aurora? Great question. And yes, it did. You know, so we had Armand there, we had Charlie there. So I had a product, I had a marketing. And of course, Alex was there as well. And there's a good number of connections that have been made. A few particularly interesting conversations have come out of it as well. We're currently kind of continuing those conversations now. And of course, what they translate to, I'll be sharing on future episodes of Alpha Leaks. Okay, what do we have next? Praise, will you be attending NearCon? Yes, I will. I'm actually going to be attending NearCon and East Denver, given that they're back-to-back in San Fran and Denver. So I'll be attending personally. If you're going to be there, please do reach out to the team. I'd love to speak to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, while bull markets make launches on Calyx more favorable, how are you preparing to sustain traction and confidence during periods of heightened market fear? Yeah, Said, that is a fantastic question. And actually, it's the exact situation that we're in at the moment. I touched upon it when I was given the update. You know, the big thing that we're doing right now is actually partnering with the big L1 networks, because these networks are able to weather, you know, heightened market fear quite well. They've got pretty deep resources. And of course, they're supporting a wide range of projects within their ecosystem. So making Calyx multi-chain and multi-network is obviously going to be a fantastic way to ensure that we're able to keep that sustainability and keep that confidence regardless of what's going on in the market. Now, of course, we can't control how tokens perform. All we can do really is the due diligence on projects, you know, to ensure that they're at least set up for success. And with the help of these networks as well, we're going to be able to scale much more quickly, and we're going to be able to launch many more projects. Okay, let's have a look. Do you think the success of Near Intense would make Near more bullish? Yes, pure and simple. Easiest answer probably of the day. And we're already seeing it, right? The momentum that we've seen in multiple areas across the Near ecosystem, I would argue, is definitely attributable to the success of Near Intense. Near Intense is bringing significant volume. It's making all of the founders, you know, within key projects across the ecosystem kind of take a step back and think about how they can leverage that, and more importantly, how it can benefit their community and their users. You know, so I think what we're going to see is a lot of projects, including Aurora, as you can see with the widget in 2026, really doubling down on this and really maximizing the opportunities for both the Near ecosystem and for themselves. Okay, we have another question from Alpha. Do you think near intents will get to 20 billion volume before the end of Q1? Well, if we do some simple maths, so they went from 9 billion to 10 billion in 10 days, right? So 100 million a day, 300 million a month. Yeah. So assuming, even if it just stays flat, that's still only going to get you roughly, to an increase of, well, yeah, to be fair, actually, that across 30 days, that's going to get you 3 billion. So yes, it is actually quite possible that the 20 billion volume would be hit before the end of Q1. It'd be tight, right? Unless we see that 100 million daily volume increase, jump. I think it'd be interesting to see, but I think actually, yes, if the trajectory goes the way it's going, I wouldn't be surprised if near intents hits 20 billion volume. Now, the bigger question is, what will it be at the end of the year? Because the sky really is the limit based on what the numbers that we're seeing so far. Okay, so Kevlar, what project are we expecting to be announced as the next Calyx sale? Well, I know the answer. I just can't share it yet. All I can tell you is it will be the biggest project by an absolute landslide to date. In fact, it probably dwarfs the previous two that we've done by a factor of 10 combined, right? So I will share it as soon as we can, but it'll be worth the wait, I can assure you. Okay, so just checking any other questions. What updates on Aurora do we look up to in the first quarter of 2026? So we've got a number of partnerships that we're going to be announcing. We've, of course, got the next Calyx sale, and we've got the swap widget. There are some other things that are going on behind the scenes at the moment. As soon as I can share it, I will do. I think most people know that I tend to share these things as soon as humanly possible. So yeah, you'll just have to wait and see and keep tuning in on the Alpha Leaks every Friday. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, final question from Craig. How is work coming along for the new near intents widget announced a few weeks ago? Well, hopefully, Craig, you saw me walk through the demo just a moment ago. If you didn't, you can just see it here. The widget is now essentially ready and done. This is obviously just our Versal kind of emulator, so to speak. But yeah, it's there's some publishing that are happening today, and we've got clients that we're already onboarding. So yeah, I think I don't think you're going to have to wait long at all. The project's going to be able to start using this straight away. Okay, so I think that is all of the questions and all of the topics for this week. So have a fantastic weekend, rest up, and I look forward to speaking to you all again next Friday on the next episode of Alpha Leaks. And please, obviously, remember, if you have any ideas or suggestions as for what you would like to see on Alpha Leaks as we try some new things, share them with the team, post them on X. And of course, I look forward to seeing next week's memes as well. All right. Have a great week. Bye.